Because it gets old.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Ready? Everybody be quiet.
We might have to do our fist pumps and our karate kicks.
Yeah, get loosened up. Let's go.
All right, dance party.
I don't hear nothing.
After all of that, Bailey with a new stick comes to center with a post.
Yes.
Bailey down low, looks for a post. In front, Bailey! He's robbed! Rebound Nielsen to Bailey! He pokes at it! He scores! Josh Bailey!
All your New York Islanders news and expert Islanders analysis from the fourth line in Bridgeport to the first line in Long Island. This is the Dump and Chase podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 25 of the Dump and Chase podcast. Yes, I did quadruple check 25 this week. I'm going to make sure, at least for the next 5 weeks, I'm going to be on target with my episode numbers. I'm Shane Blackburn. As always, you can follow me at ShaneB NHL. With me today, as always, Andy Graziano at Tasman19, Rich Diaz Rodriguez at RDNHL, and Michael Wilhoff. You could follow him still at Michael Wilhoff. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
All right.
Yeah.
What's going on, Shane? Doing all right.
Hanging in there, buddy.
Rocking out.
You know,
Rocking out.
I don't know what it is about this song, but I absolutely love it.
I like the whole. If it wasn't for the Josh Bailey intro, it would be nothing. It would be nothing without that.
Really? That's what makes it? Because it reminds everybody that at some point in his career
Josh
he did
Bailey scored a goal. Exactly.
No, it's good to reminisce. We need that every once in a while.
And then I just can't get over the Butch. Yes.
Yes.
The creepy. Yes.
It was a pretty good goal too, because it put them ahead. I was going pretty nuts when he scored that goal.
Mm-hmm.
I was a happy camper.
We'll see what happens. Yeah,
better days.
You would think they're ahead.
Well, we have some good days to talk about right now. I mean, the Islanders trade for Yaroslav Halak. We obviously have to get into that. We're going to get into a couple other Islanders-based news, and then we have full NHL to talk about. I know Rich wants to get into a topic that I'm a little weary about getting into, but we'll talk about it a little bit later on in the show tonight. So make sure you guys stick around for that. If you guys have anything to say, call us up. The number is 718-395-PUCK. It's right below me right here. You guys could see it as it scrolls by. 718-395-7825. You could tweet at us. You could leave a comment on the live page underneath the video. Do whatever you guys want. We'll respond to you. You respond to us. It'll be like you're here with us on air. So let's start off with Yaroslav Halak, guys. Garth Snow... Garth Snow makes the first move of the Islanders offseason that shows that we were all correct in guessing it was going to be an aggressive offseason and that he knew he had to make moves, and he does that by trading essentially Pierre-Marc Bouchard and Peter Regan for Yaroslav Halak, and gives him two months essentially, a 2-month head start on negotiating a contract with Halak to try and keep him with the Islanders and give the Islanders that legit number one goalie they're looking for. What's your thoughts on the move? We'll start with Rich.
I couldn't ask for anything better. I think considering the situation, what's out there, it's a very aggressive move, like you said, Shane, for Garth, and I think he'll probably take Buffalo's pick this draft, and it's a win-win if Halak signs. And so we don't know if that's going to be the case. I mean, like Andy said the other day when we had a private conversation, it's about a 95% chance he will. It seems like they want to get this done quickly from what I heard from his agent. But no complaints. So good.
Let's shift on over to Mike. Mike, what do you think of the trade?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be an aggressive summer. We knew that coming in, and I don't think you can get any more aggressive than trading, again, for an unrestricted free agent, knowing the way the Vanek deal went. So Garth is obviously confident he can get this done. The first, 10 or 15 minutes after the trade broke, the agent was quoted as saying there's mutual interest on both sides, so that's a good sign. I mean, I think it gets done. I think they're going to have to overpay a little bit, but as we all know, there's plenty of room for the Islanders to overpay without even scraping the cap. So I think it gets done, and I think it gets the offseason going, the best possible way. Knowing that there was a big hole in net, and Halak's numbers are impressive no matter how you slice it. Even if they say it was a small sample size in Washington, that .930 save percentage is a little high, but overall he's better than anything the Islanders had last year or the year before.
And Andy, what do you think about the trade, Andy? Do you like it?
It was real good. Thanks, Shane.
I'm itching to eject somebody.
No,
It's been 25 episodes.
You guys know from our previous conversations that Halak wasn't my number one choice. I'll say that loud and clear. He wasn't. But under the circumstances, it looks like Jonas Hiller, even though the Ducks lost Game 1 to the Kings, is back in the Ducks' goal to start the second round. So, I think for Snow to sit back and kind of wait for something like that to work itself out before making a decision one way or the other would have put getting a goaltender at all possibly in jeopardy. And Snow obviously realizes that that's the Islanders' greatest need heading into the summer, and he fixes a big hole. As Rich and Mike alluded to, Alan Walsh, Halak's agent, is known to be a no-nonsense guy. He doesn't, usually make statements or comments just for the sake of doing it. He's generally a well-respected agent. So I take the comments that he made very seriously, that there is mutual interest. I think, personally, they settle somewhere in the range of 5 years, $25 million, maybe upwards of 6 years, $30 million. I don't know if the Islanders go quite as high as 636. I think that's way too much. But 530, 630, I could see that being a very workable deal for him. And we'll see. There's still other pieces to fill. You still got to get it back up. You don't know whether that's going to be Nabokov. There was something that came out today about the Maple Leafs possibly, believe it or not qualifying James Reimer.
Really?
Yeah, allowing him to just go free because they think that by qualifying him is going to actually lower his trade value.
Jesus Christ.
So who knows? I mean, if Snow swoops in, we could end up seeing. And I know I'm just grasping at straws here, but I mean, if the stars align and things fall a certain way, who knows? You can end up with Halak and Reimer. You don't know.
Andy, you brought up a very, very intriguing point, and it's a hot topic that I don't think many people are either aware of or care to address. But Nielsen doesn't want to go down to the AHL, and what do you do with Poulin?
Right.
So we've all agreed here. I think everyone unanimously agrees that Nielsen needs time. He needs reps in the AHL.
Yeah, his agent. I don't know what his agent's thinking. I really don't.
Just a quick update, guys. Sorry to budge in, but
yes.
whoever's listening,
yes, say it, Shane, say it.
The Crosby watch is over.
Yes, he scored 5-0.
Sidney Crosby has finally scored a playoff goal this season. So
is he good again?
No, he's still awful.
He's still terrible, right?
He's still a terrible hockey player.
Listen, do you know why people hate Sidney Crosby? It's because I don't know if you guys were watching during the first period, but he got mixed up with Mark Stahl behind the Rangers' goal, and they were kind of going at it with each other back and forth pretty good, giving each other the business, as they say. And Pierre Maguire just totally comes on and sticks his nose right up Crosby's you-know-what. He just comes on and he's like, I can't believe that they're allowing this to go. I guess this is real playoff hockey. Well, they better be calling this both ways later in the game. I'm like, is he kidding me right now? Like,
but I will
total homerism. Like,
I will admit though, Andy, when you watch the playoffs, the Rangers get almost the same treatment the Penguins do.
I disagree with that. I'm sorry.
It's not when they play each other. But in separate series, that's why I hate when Ranger fans complain about the refs, because they get such special treatment during most games that it's ridiculous.
I smell Islander fandom here somewhere.
Yeah,
no.
I really don't think so. I'm trying to be as objective as I can, and I really I don't see that.
It's not that bad.
I watch a lot of Ranger hockey. Trust me, because of my wife and son. I watch a lot of Ranger hockey.
You poor soul.
I don't. Well, did you see my picture from
yes,
yesterday? My damn wife dressed up my dog in a Jaime Blanco's jersey.
That's hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
No, that's animal cruelty. You should call PETA.
Well, I called my lawyer today, and he said I definitely have a strong case in the divorce proceedings. So it looks like it looks like I'll be able to actually take possession of the dog. So that's actually good news. Get him out of this.
But let me ask you guys something. Going back to this, you put this bug in my ear now with Reimer, Andy, because that would be an absolute.
It was just someone spitballing, Rich. I don't know if there's. But it was in the Toronto Sun, so it's a pretty reputable, paper. They had mentioned that the Leafs have a decision to make in terms of if they want to even qualify him.
Because who do you have as a backup? If you don't sign Nabby or
I think you qualify Poulin, and although I don't think Kevin, I think if the Islanders qualify Poulin, who knows? He may jump overseas as well because he's not. How long is he going to want to play for Bridgeport too? He got a real taste of the NHL this year. I'm not sure how excited he's going to be to play in Bridgeport again.
Yep, that's an issue.
Yeah, definitely.
And one thing I wanted to mention, I emailed you guys, and I don't know how many fans saw this. When the news was released on Halak being signed, Barclays Center tweeted out within 5 minutes. They were basically, I understand it's all marketing, what have you, but I found it to be a contradiction in communication there.
No doubt.
They're selling tickets.
They're like, come see Halak in September.
Halak in the Islanders. I wonder if Garth's like, what? What the heck's going on?
Yeah, I honestly, my personal opinion, I honestly think Poulin is gone. I don't think they qualify him. I think he finds a job as a backup somewhere else or he goes overseas. I actually think the Nielsen situation resolves itself. I think that Nielsen ends up coming back and playing in Bridgeport, is my opinion. That's how I see it happening. I think that works itself out.
Something that Eric pointed out to me, and Mikey, I wanted your opinion on this. I was talking to him the other day, and he mentioned something that I completely didn't know about Halak. He doesn't really start that many games for a goalie. The most he's ever started in his career is 50, I think. And he's been injured, what have you. The thing is, okay, so you get at the most, let's say 45 out of Halak, and you would assume if all things stay the same that you'd split time between Nabby and Nielsen? What do you think, Mike? Is that how you would want to run the team, or you would just keep Nabby in there until he gets injured?
I think he's going to get injured, right? It looked innocuous when he got hurt the first time, but he's getting up there and he can't play every day anymore. So I think, and Andy, you've said it, to bring him back on a bridge deal for 1 year, Nielsen is not ready to be an NHL goalie. No. They tried to get him some reps at the end of the season, but what's he only played, like 75, 76 games professionally in his career?
In three seasons.
3 or 4 years. Plus, he was sick for the year, and they got that resolved, but still, that's way too green to trust him as your NHL backup. Other teams like, the Bruins and the Ducks and the Kings, they all have, reliable backups. I don't think Nielsen's that guy yet.
Right. And let's keep this in mind, too, that, I'm sorry, Shane, let's keep this in mind, too, that Garth Snow has a ton to still play with. He gave up one of his 3 fourth-round picks. He still has picks up the yazoo, including a first-rounder. He's got assets on the blue line he could trade. He still has a ton of assets to do something, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see some sort of Halak Reimer type of platoon as we head into September.
Right, he's not done by a long shot.
No. That is juicy, man, juicy.
All right, well, we have our first caller of the week, guys, and I'm a little worried because he said he's a friend of Andy's, so I'm a little nervous about this one.
Joey Donuts has.
We're bringing in Barry from Westbury. Barry, how's it going?
Good. How you fellas doing?
Barry, what's up, my man?
Good. How are you?
Good. What do you got going on?
I just wanted to touch on a couple of subjects. I guess first being that, of course, I approve of the Halak trade, as Andy knows. Clearly, I'd like to have seen Hillard become available, but obviously, because we don't know his status, I'm more than happy that the Islanders are potentially going to sign Halak. With all that being said, I have to ask you guys a question and see what you guys think. With the goaltending situation starting to percolate, and it looks like probably Nabokov will back up unless we magically get Reimer or somebody else. I'm concerned that Garth might be a little bit overzealous, knowing that he has to produce this offseason. I'm just curious what you guys think in regards to us, the Islanders, and us, like on the team. The Islanders would actually really overpay to try to make sure that they get into the playoffs. That was one subject I thought I'd get you to bounce off of, and I was curious what you guys think of the draft in regards to the Islanders buttoning up a goaltender beyond the first round. I was looking at Thatcher Demko, and maybe because the Islanders have so many multiple picks that they would be inclined to make sure that they can get a goaltending prospect in the future. That's all I got for now. You guys do a terrific job. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, I think
up to you, Andy.
I think Snow definitely feels a ton of pressure to get this summer done. I think the Halak move happening so early just proves that he knows he has to produce, and I think he thinks he might be also in like kind of an audition phase for a prospective new owner as well. So I think, are we going to overpay? I think we'll have to in some situations. I really hope we don't overpay on the trade market. I'd rather see us overpay in terms of the Halak contract or any other free agent that we want to lure to the team. I do think that happens. I think he's a little more shrewd in the trade market. I don't think he'll overpay in the trade market. But I think as far as free agents, yeah, I think we'll definitely have to give Halak a little more than any other team would. But with our cap situation, that if it doesn't concern Wang, it definitely doesn't concern me. It's not my money. So they can give Halak $8 million a year for all I care. Just get the guy signed in the crease at 28 years old for the next 6 years, and I think that gets done. In terms of the draft, again, I still like to see him trade that first pick. I think it's either trade that first pick or you're looking at a player like Michael Del Cal, who could help, but in 3 years? I think we're past that point. I think you'll definitely see us pick up at least one, possibly two goaltenders out of all the picks that Snow does have in the later rounds. Because as Barry said, we got to start restocking the system in terms of our goaltending with really just Kenny Ryder now. Is currently the only Islander goaltender that's signed in both systems. So those are my thoughts. Thanks for the call, Barry.
Rich, what do you think, Rich?
No, I'm with Andy on this one. I'm just thinking about Reimer.
I put that in your head, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking, wow, why haven't they signed Nabokov yet? What are they waiting for? What's out there for the draft? I don't want to wait another 3 years for any. I don't want to wait anymore as far as that's concerned. Somebody threw out on Twitter last week, I wouldn't trade Ryan Strome for a PK Subban. Oh, my friend, I would trade a Ryan Strome for a PK Subban.
Oh, not this again, Rich.
Here we go.
But what I'm saying is,
not this again.
I would trade potential superstar talent for a
established, right? He would trade potential for established, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to trade potential for potential, but what I'm saying is that's what Garth Snow has to be thinking about.
I agree, Rich.
Brock Nelson, love the guy, love him. Every single thing he does.
If you say trade Brock Nelson, you're getting ejected. Don't even close to that statement.
Shane, think about it. I think when it comes to a guy like Calvin DeHaan, if Calvin DeHaan's going to make or break a deal for an established star now,
absolutely,
I'm doing that deal because as we said last week, we're not that far away. We're really not.
Andy, you said it best. How many teams in the postseason have we not manhandled and or beaten?
Right.
Or
can you look at the two teams and say we're not that much worse than those guys?
We beat the Dallas Stars. We've beaten the Penguins once. But what I'm saying is we've never been blown out of this season. We weren't. I can count. How many games have we been blown out in 82 games? What, 3, 4 tops? Come on.
But Barry's got a good point though. Snow definitely is feeling pressure, and I think that pressure is probably going to lead to an overpayment of some sort. Yep. As I said, I hope it's not on the trade front.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, that pressure is.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, that pressure is a good. That pressure is a good pressure, right? I mean, for the fan base to be expecting and okay with Garth potentially overpaying 1 or 2 or 10 people if he has to ice a team that's going to make him A, attractive for a sale, and B, a playoff contender, legitimately a playoff contender.
Right.
I think people are okay with that. They have been clamoring for him to spend for 5, 6, 7 years, and now that he has basically a mandate and he's made it known that he's going to pay, I think this is probably the best possible situation for the Islanders going into a year that, the last year at the Coliseum, it's make or break for them to finally take the leap. The kids are finally coming up. I think everything's kind of coming together, and I'm really not concerned with them overpaying because they've been so frugal in the past, and they haven't been one of those teams to contribute to a lockout, so maybe they get a pass if they overspend one time in 20 years and, finally ice a product that the people have been waiting for. I think that's probably the best possible situation. I don't have any concern with that at all.
It's been funny, too, the last couple, if you've noticed, too, since the season ended, I think that what's been telling to me is that the Islanders have been much more communicative.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, right?
Yeah, much more in the open.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in the news a lot, but we've been hearing from Snow quite a bit. A couple of town halls, a couple of interviews. He's not been as quiet as he has been in the past.
Well, I'm all for overpaying for Halak. So if that's what's going to happen, and Andy, I agree with you, and I'm glad that they're being more open, because if he does get turned down, at least we know now he is trying. It's not that he's not offering. It's not that.
What's your max, Shane, that you would go on Halak?
In
your mind? Well, what would you pay Halak, knowing his background, his history, his age, his pedigree? If your guards know, what do you pay him?
I would go as far as 6 per for 6.
6 and 6 sounds about right.
So you would go 636.
I would go 7 per if it got it done.
Really?
Really? Jesus. You go on DiPietro territory.
I wouldn't.
But for 6, I would go 7-6, not 7. I would go 7-6, 6.5, 6. If it was a difference of $1 million per to get it done, I would go 6-6.
6-6.
All right.
I would go 6. I actually want to lock him up. No, I think 6 is 6 the max.
I think it's 6
or
unless he's your guy. It's 7 if it's your guy.
All right, so I'd go 6. I go 6:30.
6 and 6.
I go 6:30.
You wouldn't give him 6 per?
No, I don't think so.
I think they might. And I know I just said I wasn't nervous.
I think he takes 5 though.
I think he would take 5, but I think 6. If Garth wants to be very aggressive and he wants them to accept his first or even his second offer, he has to, overextend a little bit. But I think that's fine. To lock up a goalie of that caliber, they haven't had one in so long. It would be a big step in the right direction.
Well, I'm looking too at the recent deals that Mike Smith signed in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I don't see Halak as being that much better better at all than Mike Smith.
Yeah, I know some of the guys out there are a little bit longer term. I think Niemi's making 4. Price is
like
out
in the 5 range. Yeah.
Maybe.
I'd go 6.5. I'd put him in the net for 6 years. Give him $5 million per. I think he takes that.
Mm-hmm. Problem is, I know if they get that deal done and it's 6 and 6, and then Halak has an average season, they're going to kill Snow for that because he overpaid, wasn't as good as we thought he'd be. So I guess that's why I'm not an NHL GM. I wouldn't be able to take that.
They're going to kill him if he gets him for 6 years, $6 million total.
Yeah, they would find
and he has a bad year, they'll kill him. So
absolutely,
that's just fandom in general.
All right, well, sticking with free agents, guys. This caller that I'm about to bring in, he left a comment on the video page saying that he would love to bring in Ryan Callahan and see a Callahan-Tavares match connection.
Wow. Heaven.
We're bringing in Dom here. Dom, how's it going?
How you doing, guys?
What's up, Dom?
How you doing, Dom?
All right, man. Listen, I guess on Halak, I go anywhere between 5 to 25 to 30, 5.5, whatever, maybe 5, 27, 28, 30. I don't go more than 5. I give him 5.
5 years max. Okay.
Yeah, I go 5 between 25 and 30 million. I think that gets it done. But as far as everybody's talking about Snow and how much pressure he's under, this is it. I mean, this is his last year. So if he gets it right, he gets us back to the playoffs, then he survives. But it's absolutely, I mean, I've gone over this a few times, and I know you guys feel the same way. It's absolutely imperative that this team goes to the playoffs next year.
Yep,
they have to go to the playoffs. Okay? So it's the last year at the Coliseum. What better way to send off the Coliseum, especially if we can get a first-round win? Imagine we can actually make the playoffs and get that first-round win. We don't need to go further than that. But as long as we got in the first round and we had a victory, that would springboard us into Brooklyn. I think that would be huge. And then going back to Callahan, it's about time that we start to steal a little bit of thunder from the Rangers and stuff. We need to start putting ourselves back on the map. That's a move that I make that not only I add a guy like Callahan as a heart and soul guy, which would be great with the young kids that we have. He could be a really good leader. Along with Tavares, I think we'd be in super hands with both of those guys in the roster as far as our kids coming up. But the thing, too, is think about what we steal from the Rangers. The Ranger fans look and say, oh, Callahan signed with the Islanders. Now we take a little bit of the thunder away from them, put ourselves back on the map in the New York scene a little bit. So it's time for Snow not only to get the team set up with the roster and get us back into the playoffs, but, watching these playoffs, I'm getting tired of commercials with Lundqvist and all these other guys. I want to see our stars in commercials. I want to see the Island logo in commercials for the NHL and everything else. We need to get back there, and that's something that I think Snow needs to put a little bit more emphasis on as well. Your guys' thoughts?
Callahan is wow. I mean, Rich and I are huge Ryan Callahan fans. We've said this before. The problem with Ryan Callahan is I, in no way, shape, or form, pay him the $6.5 million a year that he's looking for. I just can't bring myself to do it. As much as I love the guy, and I think that, Dom, as you said, every intangible he would bring would be so great for the team and the organization. I still can't bring myself to see him as a $6.5 million guy. That's the big problem for me. What him and his agent are asking. Apparently, he left the Rangers for $500,000, so he really didn't want to be there. But that's the only hang-up I have about Callahan. If I can get Callahan for 5.5,
that's it.
Five and a half, done deal in a heartbeat. But if he's going to stick to that $6.5 million per, and he wants 6 years guaranteed, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that for a guy like Ryan Callahan. In terms of Snow, I think you're absolutely right. This is it. He's, again, like I said before, trying out for a potential new owner. I think, I don't know if the Coliseum can handle a second round of the playoffs, to be honest with you.
It might fall apart.
The whole the roof may literally blow off. I mean, that place would be, can you imagine how great it was in the first round last year if we got into the second round? Absolutely insanity. But I think that, I agree with Dom in the sense of we need some kind of identity, right? We do need to bring some kind of identity back to this team. Yeah. My brother-in-law the other day at a family function over the weekend was talking about that, and he had a far-fetched idea. Like, we're seeing all this new technological advances come into the pregame shows now, right? When with the light shows and stuff, and I don't know if you guys saw that video of the European League when they had like the 3D effects on the ice where it looked like the ice was breaking and stuff. And so he had this really cool idea about like the whole arena going dark and smoke emanating from the ice, and you hear like a Celtic drum in the background, and they put the opposing logo at center ice. He's talking about Barclays, and then down from the scoreboard you have like a hologram of Zeus come down and put the trident through the logo, and the logo kind of just explodes and breaks into ice chunks, and then the Islanders come out of the tunnel. But what he was talking about was, more to Dom's point, was an identity. Having teams fear coming into Barclays to play us. And
how you do that?
You win games.
Yeah, you bring back the fishermen.
Oh well, duh. That's like number one. Winning games.
He actually mentioned that too. He goes, you have a bit, He goes, not the Gordon's fisherman, but you have like a really like mean-looking crawl like outside Barclays and thunder.
As long as it's not the Gordon fisherman.
Right. But I see what he's saying in terms of an identity of having an identity. And
absolutely.
But we'll see. Like I said, Callahan is. I love him, but I don't love him at 6.5.
Now. This kind of rolls into Kenny Kahn asked on the video page, but forwards that we would like the team to go after this offseason, whether it be free agency or trades. So this kind of rolls in with Callahan being mentioned. Callahan is someone that I mentioned a little bit earlier. I mentioned it the minute he got traded, and everyone laughed at me. So I hope we do sign him, just like I laugh at all three of you guys for laughing at me when I mentioned it.
I never laughed at you.
I never laughed at him. I don't know what he's talking about, Rich.
I think
he's looking at me at you and I, but I'm struggling to remember that.
I just know that he and I would jump on one leg if they signed out.
I know.
But I don't think it gets done. I would love for it to get done. I've mentioned Mason Raymond.
Yes, you did mention him. But I'd rather have Callahan.
I'd rather have Callahan too, but I think Mason Raymond is a good second line player that could get that the
Don't like
Islanders
him.
could sign.
Nope.
Really, not a fan?
Nah.
What about you, Mike? Take my side on this one, Mike.
I will not take your side. I'll go somewhere else. I'm just to be clear, I didn't laugh at you per se. It was more like a chuckle.
More of like a giggle.
Yeah,
A giggle.
you know,
This guy over here.
If I had to go after someone, it would be Paul Stastny, but I think he's going to be too expensive, and I know that's terrible to say.
Especially
when
after this, though.
Especially the way he's been playing. It's
Another center though, Mikey. I think.
I mean, they haven't exactly kept the people at the positions that they've played in the past.
True.
Would he be willing to move? Who knows? We're not his agent, but if you're going to go after someone, to make a splash, and like you said, to create that identity, the Islanders can't be up and coming for 5 and 10 years.
Right.
You can only be up and coming for so long. Then you have to make a splash, and I think this is the summer when whoever they get, they're solidifying their identity as we've arrived. We're here. We've had the kids for so long, and now they're ready to play. Add a couple pieces on the market, and all of a sudden, this team is. We've heard it before. Even to this point, the Islanders are a team that nobody really. I mean, they might get beat a lot, but nobody likes to go and play the Islanders, and they don't think it's an easy game. It's always tough because the kids are fighting for spots, but I think after the summer, assuming everything goes according to plan, I think that the identity is they've always been a kind of a tough, gritty team to play. Now all of a sudden they're putting up goals and they're winning games instead of just putting up a good fight and coming out on the losing end.
Right.
I don't know if you can market that anyway. It's not a good slogan or whatever, but that's their identity. The kids are finally there with the arrival of Reinhardt as that shutdown D-man, and everybody kind of finding their role. I think this is the identity they're looking for.
Please, God, do not do Heatley. Don't do that to me. Please, God, don't do that to me. Whatever you do, do not do that to me.
Please.
Well,
God.
What about? Now I'm looking at Cap Geek right now. What about Alice Hemsky in Ottawa? He put up some good numbers.
You blow at him, he freaking breaks a finger or something like that.
Yeah, you'd be scared of the injuries.
Here comes Hensky. Oh, he's hurt again. He'll be out 6 weeks.
Yeah, I guess he was playing for a contract.
Mike Camilleri is a guy that I've always wanted on the island. I've always wanted Mike Camilleri. I love the way he plays. I love the fact that he's a little guy, plays with a lot of grit. He's got 30 goals in that stick. He had a rough start in Calgary this year, but really came on as they tried to make a push late in the year. Scored a ton of goals down the stretch for them. He's an experienced guy. That's really a guy that I'd like to see Snow target. I'd like to see Snow target Mike Camilleri and bring him in here. I actually wanted him when he signed, when he went back to Calgary. I wanted him really bad. But if we can't get Callahan for our asking price, I'm going after Mike Camilleri.
So we all know that PK Subban is our favorite trade target.
Yeah, pipe dream though, I think.
But what are your offensive trade targets? If you guys had to pick someone you would want to trade for, now I'm not asking for deals. You don't. I'm not worried about who would you package, who would you send. Who would be your forward trade target? Reasonable and obtainable. Who would be your forward trade target this offseason? Not that we need it, because we definitely need a defenseman in that aspect. But who would your forward trade target be?
Honestly, I don't have any. I'm thinking defense right now, guys. I'm not that savvy as you guys. I don't, I just right now I'm concentrating on goaltending and defense if I'm Garth Snow, and the pipe dream, be that as it may. I'm seeing what I can do to land the PK Subban. Let me ask you guys a question, just because I don't know off the top of my head. Max Pacioretty, what's his deal?
Oh, we talked about this last week.
Yeah, Rich wasn't here last week. Rich wasn't on with us last week.
It was very affordable. I know that.
He would be my target if I had an ideal, big guy scorer.
I don't think they would trade him. I don't think they would. That's way too friendly of a deal.
You have to ridiculously overpay, in the trade market to get him. They'd want two prospects. They'd want a Nelson and a Strome,
Yeah, exactly. Here's why I want a clarification for anybody who's misconstruing what I'm saying about Ryan Strome and trading. See, that's not a player. Pacioretty's not a player I would trade Ryan Strome for.
No, absolutely
not in a million years.
But that's what it would take. That's what it would take. Because he's got 6 years, 4 per for the first 3, 5 per for the last 3.
So cap hit of 4.5.
Yeah, so that's an extremely team-friendly deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, saying who you would trade for is tough because you don't know what guys are truly on the market. I mean, you can look at the restricted free agents and maybe get an idea as to what teams might want to. But I mean, if even if you look at the RFA list, Ryan O'Reilly's not going nowhere. Derek Brassard's not going anywhere.
Nope.
What the hell do we do with Braden Shen? We have a Braden Shen and Casey Cizikas already. Tyler Ennis. What do we do with Tyler Ennis? Nino Niederreiter. We don't want that headache again.
No.
Michael Frolik's a mess. Brandon Sutter, I would love, but again,
Expensive.
checking, third, fourth line checking center. We already have plenty of those. Ryan Johansson, forget about it. So even trade market's always tough. I mean, like Rich said, for me, I'm not really sure I have anybody right now off the top of my head that I would ideally like to quote unquote trade for.
If Pacioretty wanted money, maybe. I mean,
look, I'd love to put Pacioretty on the wing with Tavares and Okposo, but
absolutely.
I don't think, as we said last week, I don't think with that deal it's happening anytime soon. Just like I think the Subban thing is great to dream about, but I think it's a pipe dream.
But never know.
Now that we have a goalie on our roster that we can negotiate with,
I love the way beautifully said. You couldn't have said that any better.
If we do sign him, if we use these 2 months well and sign Yaroslav Halak, my number one free agent target. Wait, and I would say Matt Niskanen, but it's not happening. So my number one free agent target.
Oh Lord.
Is Matt Green.
Again,
Matt Green.
I don't know what it is.
Where does Matt Green go if we don't move a defenseman or two? Where does Matt Green go?
You want to know? You want to know where Matt Green goes?
Yeah.
Calvin DeHaan takes the power play position from Wisnowski.
Yeah.
Wisnowski retires, and Matt Green slides in as the fourth defenseman.
And we have no offensive defenseman then, especially if they continue to play around with Matt Donovan.
You would have DeHaan to me is a two-way defenseman. He's not offensive, and the way he moves the puck.
Yeah, you guys don't see him as an offense. I'm on your side in this, Shane. I think he's an offensive demon. I think his first pass is better than anybody else's on the team.
First pass, that's not an offensive defenseman.
He's also rushed the puck extremely well a couple of times in his first season.
Dude, no way.
I don't think my definition of an offensive defenseman isn't a guy who scores 20 goals. He's a guy who gets goals for other people, and I think puck carrying and first pass are very important.
My idea of an offensive defenseman is PK Subban, Shea Weber's everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's
not happening.
I don't even look.
Guys, can you stop saying it's not going to happen? It's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Will you stop saying it's not going to happen? I don't even look at Ryan Suter as an offensive defenseman.
No, he's not.
No, I don't even.
I don't look at Ryan Suter. I look at a guy like Drew Doughty.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think Calvin DeHaan is near any of those guys in terms of offensive game.
Here's what my pairs would be in that situation.
He's never had that pedigree.
I would have Hamonic and DeHaan.
Okay.
Donovan and Green.
Okay.
And then Reinhart and your pick at your sixth defenseman. Straight.
Gotta be Hickey.
Hickey. Straight Hickey.
Gotta be Hickey. Straight Parkner. Gotta be either in Bridgeport or scratched.
And then Hickey's your sixth defenseman.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Niskanen's not going to happen.
No.
Markov's not going to happen.
Subban's not going to happen.
Subban, listen, barring Garth Snow being God, Subban's probably not going to happen.
Give me until July, I'll make it happen.
But seriously though, who else? We've all said it on this podcast.
But you're assuming Wisnowski doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Right. I'm assuming Wisnowski. But even that, if Wisnowski comes back, we've been saying we need to do something with our defense. If Wisnowski,
we need another, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, we need another offensive defenseman. Either get a damn offensive defenseman, or you know what? Give freaking Donovan's an RFA. Give him a damn 1-year contract and let him play with the team all damn year and make his mistakes and learn.
Give him the Hickey treatment.
Right.
Exactly.
Why the hell?
Leave him alone.
That was such crap, with all due respect, the way he was handled this year, considering what they did with Hickey and what they did with Brian Straight.
Yeah.
The fact that they mishandled, in my opinion, Donovan this year was criminal, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But if you're gonna go for an offensive defenseman free agent, who do you go? I'll read you the top 4.
I don't think there is one out there.
I'll read you the top 4 UFA's offensive defensemen. You have Niskanen, Markov, Zidlicki, and Boyle.
Woof.
Boyle and Zidlicki.
Wait, hold on. Dan Boyle of the Sharks?
Yeah.
I bring him in, and if Wisnowski's not going to come back, I bring Dan Boyle in a heartbeat.
Right, but that's assuming he's going to sign here.
True.
And Dan Boyle's 37, Zidlicky's 37, Markov is 35.
Zidlicky is a turnover machine. Markov is an injury waiting to happen.
And Niskanen's not happening.
Niskanen's not happening.
Because he's re-signing with the Penguins for an absurd amount of money.
So you put, look, listen. Hamonic, Subban, Dahan.
Oh my God, Rich. Rich,
also
you're very close to being...
Chara, Keith.
Oh, that's a sensitive subject, Mike. You said the C word.
Oh no, I feel like Milbury at this point, trying to talk about how he drafted him and how he knew what he was doing when he shipped him. Yeah.
Look,
yeah,
I think everything hinges on Wisnowski, obviously, but
Yeah.
you know, I think that if Lubomir doesn't come back, you're really going to need, like I said, that defenseman who pushes the play, who takes chances, who you need at least one. Stop with this ridiculous. You need at least one of those guys of the six that's willing to take some chances and not be afraid to make a damn mistake. I think the whole problem with Donovan is who he's partnered with. It's that simple. He was partnered with Martinic and Karkner the whole damn year. The 1 month I keep saying it over, and I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but the 1 month he was paired with Dahan was the best month of his season. Is that a coincidence? Of course it's not. Of course.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear people say, well, anybody would be good with Dahan. No, that's not true. And I agree with you 100%, Andy. Ever since the Yankee Stadium, who was our best defenseman? Even that game and moving forward.
No, I understand. People
Travis
said,
Hamonic.
People said maybe. People said maybe. Maybe Donovan's one of those players that's too good for the AHL, but not good enough for the NHL. Possible.
I don't think so.
That's possible. I see the point there, though. I see how somebody might make that, like a Markadic. You know what I'm saying? I see how someone might make that assumption. Could ask that question. Let me say. I don't think that's the case at all with Matt Donovan, but I see how somebody could at least throw the question out there.
Well, let's see. PKC, man. Anyway, moving on. What?
Blackhawks? Hey, did the Blues beat the Blackhawks?
Shut the hell
Oh god,
up.
here we go.
Oh God,
Did
here
they?
we go. Hold
They
on,
didn't,
hold
right?
on, hold on.
The Dump and Chase podcast is in no way affiliated with the New York Islanders, Bridgeport Sound Tigers, or the National Hockey League. The views expressed by the host, panel, and guests are their own.
I get so upset every time we do the disclaimer and have this bed running because I know I don't have a schedule read to do, and it's
that
so
new
upsetting.
disclaimer sounds really, really creepy. Like
Really?
the way it comes in, like it sounds like one of those horror movies, like
Poltergeist.
Yeah, like the spirits
The
coming
Dump
through
and
the
Chase.
window.
You don't like it? You don't like the
It kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Really?
Kind of freaks me out a little bit, yeah.
All right, hold on.
The Dump and Chase podcast is in no way affiliated with the New York Islanders, Bridgeport Sound Tigers, or the National Hockey League. The views expressed by the host, panel, and guests are their own.
Is that one better?
Yeah, look, you do. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I didn't say don't ever do it again. I just said it was a little creepy.
Damn straight you didn't say that.
Oh God.
You
First round,
wouldn't-
Blues Blackhawks. I think the Blackhawks won that series in 7. Much to Rich Diaz Rodriguez's chagrin.
I just can't. I'm
What?
going to stop rooting for teams because I am just the reason why they lose. St. Louis Blues fans everywhere. You can blame me.
I'm the same. I'm the same, Rich. I was rooting for Colorado, and I have no idea how they blew that series.
What surprised me about the Hawks series was how many people wrote them off when they were down 2-0. It's almost like they forgot that they've won the Stanley Cup twice, in the last 4 years.
I just can't believe how the Blues choked, man.
I don't think the Blues choked. I just think the Blackhawks turned up their game that much. People don't want to give that team credit, but that's a team of winners. And Jonathan Toews is probably, forget Sidney Crosby, who's obviously the best offensive player on the planet. Jonathan Toews is probably the best captain in hockey right now in terms of pure leadership. And you saw that in the Blues series when he took over in game, I think 4 it was. Not even game 3. In game 4 is when Toews really started taking over that series, in my opinion.
But I will say this. Sorry, Shane. I will say this about the Blues. It's their goaltending, Andy. I mean, we talked about Miller, and you're not a big fan.
I hate
Neither am I.
Ryan Miller. Oh.
And I just think that there are some soft goals or some questionable goals on Miller's
Did
part.
you see the last game?
Yeah,
They
exactly.
were down 3-1, and the Hawks' fourth goal looked like it wasn't even trying.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think the Blues, that's their Achilles heel, and unfortunately, they might get rid of Ken Hitchcock. You never know. He might come to the island for all we know. Who the hell knows? But
we are looking for an assistant.
But yeah, we're gonna get to that. But
hey, I'm available. I'll submit my resume. Shane Blackburn. The number's 718-395-PUCK. Call us up. I'm more than available. Listen, I'll drop out if I have to, and I'll be an assistant coach on the New York Islanders. And then now that you guys all know who I am, when we lose and I make questionable coaching decisions, you could all come yell at me directly on Twitter.
There you go.
And I'll laugh as I count my paycheck on the way to the bank.
So out.
But but never mind the Blues choking. We have to talk about my favorite choke artist of them all.
Sharks.
Oh man, are they horrible in the playoffs? They are hands down one of the scariest regular season teams you'll ever play against.
Yep.
But if you draw them in the playoffs, you're jumping for joy because they are awful. God, are they awful.
That's awful.
Not only did they go up 3-0, but in the process of going up 3-0, they absolutely manhandled one of the better playoff teams this year. And then just, fell asleep at the wheel?
Yeah. Right into a brick wall.
Because, I mean, the way they fell apart was it actually hurt to watch. Like, I actually I was rooting for LA, but I actually felt bad for them.
Was there any doubt that they would lose Game 7?
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, not making fun of the Sharks at all, but the way their playoff history has gone, the way they jumped out to the lead, and to give the Kings a little bit of life, okay, maybe they win a game, maybe they win 2 games. Once they won Game 6, there was no doubt in my mind that the Kings were going to win Game 7.
Is there any other team in sports that resemble the Sharks in the postseason? We can't even say the Red Sox anymore, so, I mean, who? I can't think of. I can't.
The old Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. The old Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills. They're terrible.
That's a good comparison.
That was. I mean, I don't even know what to say about the Sharks anymore. Like, what do you do? Is it even okay to make fun of them?
No, it's not.
Yes,
There's a moratorium on jokes at this point. I mean, how bad is it that I would kill to have 1 or 2 seasons like they've had in San Jose, to have one of those on Long Island. I would kill to have a regular season like that.
Regular season, yeah, but you know what? I wouldn't even want that. Let us not even make the playoffs.
Playoffs, exactly.
I don't even want that. I don't want to be like this big time favorite that everyone loves, and then all of a sudden you blow it in the first round of the playoffs. I'm good. I'll take my 40 wins.
Listen, I'll take 10 years of rebuild than 2 postseasons the way the Sharks have gone.
No, you guys are crazy.
I would take the Sharks in a heartbeat. They've sold out something 3 seasons straight. They're always in the playoffs. For better or for worse, they're always there.
I agree with Mike.
Everything coming out of there.
To the fans, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
The grass is always greener.
You know what, though? Look, guys, 16 teams make the playoffs every year, right?
Yeah.
Only one wins the Stanley Cup. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to want to be one of those 16.
No, I agree.
8 years in a row.
To hear the reports coming out of there, I read the exit interview transcripts. Like they're as heartbroken as anybody, and they're talking about blowing it up.
Yep.
They are.
Tortorella's that's unbelievable to me. The fact that even the Blues are talking about blowing it up. How can you say that? I mean, maybe we've seen the other end of the spectrum, but how can you?
I don't know about the Blues.
They're good teams.
The Sharks need to do something. No, the Sharks need to do something to figure it out.
So what do they do? They fire McClellan? They already want him back.
And
right?
here's the rumor, Mikey. Did you hear the rumor that Tortorella's probably going to the Sharks?
I would take.
Nightmare.
That's an awful decision.
Well, they want to shake things up.
That worked out so well for the Canucks.
I was going to say, what GM is like, you know what, Tortorella will be great here.
That worked out so well for the Canucks.
I think it's hilarious that he got fired already.
Yeah. They gave him 5 years, man. He's getting paid for 5 years.
Yeah, who's laughing more? Who's laughing? JT,
he could go coach juniors for all he cares.
Who's got it better than
he doesn't even have to coach.
He could be playing floor hockey.
Making more money than all 4 of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, lucky man.
Yeah.
And if, in case everyone didn't hear, and speaking in general hockey terms, in case anyone didn't hear, extremely, extremely happy to hear the announcement this morning that Doc Emmerich and Eddie O will be the broadcast team for NHL 15, coming out in September by EA Sports.
And we dodged a bullet.
Wow.
We dodged a bullet, too.
Apparently, they're going to have NBC Sports TV presentation.
Yeah. And
Although
now
they're really trying to push the next gen stuff. They're like, the arenas are going to be, livened up and stuff. It's on.
So is it going to be Nassau Coliseum or Long Island?
No, but what they said was
Long Island Center.
They made a point. They made it a point to point out that the arenas are going to be, and the atmosphere and the
I'll let you know.
runways are going to be so jacked up but they made sure they said on next gen consoles. Look, you're still not making me run out and buy a new $400 console just to buy one game. So stop it. Stop it. I'm still going to spend the $60 on the PS3 version. I'm not going out and getting a new $400 console just for this one game because the freaking hallway and the tunnels are going to look real.
We dodged a bullet though, Andy.
What?
I heard that it was going to be the NBC Sports crew, and I cringed, and then I realized that Pierre Maguire's name was left out. Yeah, Pierre was left out, and I was like, thank God.
Yeah, it's actually going to be, apparently I heard too, I think Reagan King, our Midwest, South Side, East Side, West Side correspondent, tweeted this out that they've already recorded like 35,000 lines already.
Wow.
Right, because they have a ton of free time to do that. How is that possible?
How does that man,
intermissions, is he just like reading what he
I think there's more than one. I think he's got clones. I think he has clones.
Nobody works harder.
All right, let's go around the horn here. What is the one thing you don't want to hear? What's a Doc-ism that you don't want to hear in the game? Mine is, I don't want to hear the boards called walls.
Yeah, my dad's a stickler for that. It's the boards and the boards only. He will, anytime it's the wall or the net is called the cage, he hates that.
Mikey, what's yours? What's your one Doc-ism that you don't want to hear in NHL 15?
Oh my God, I'm going to get crucified for saying this. Every shot can't be a drive. Maybe one a period, and maybe if it's Chara, maybe you can't. Like I know he's the best. He gets me into the games. Everything can't be a drive, Doc. That's all. I just ask if they limit it. Maybe.
Rich?
Mikey, the inflections, the weird inflections at the oddest times.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good.
Shane, what's your Doc-ism you don't want to hear in NHL 15?
I know we're gonna hear it, but it's the 90 seconds left. I don't know why.
It never does the minute. It's always 90 to play, right?
Yeah, 90 to play aggravates me. It's like, just wait to the minute. You can wait 30 more seconds.
Wait. But name some Islanders whose names are always mispronounced on NHL consistently.
Hamonic. Travis
Hamonic, yes.
It's Hamonic. Oh, don't piss me off.
Oh, and they also did this year's also was Dahan. It was Calvin Dahan.
Yeah, heard that.
I'll just give my son a shout out too. My son said he doesn't want to hear waffle boarded.
That is a Doc-ism, waffle boarded away.
He doesn't want to hear waffle boarded.
Yeah.
So there's some Doc-isms that people don't want, but yeah, it's going to be great to get a fresh. I would have rather gone really old school and brought Jim Houston back, but Doc and Eddie O. I love Eddie O on NBC. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
Should be fun.
All right, well, guys, we have another caller here who wants to talk a little bit about what the Islanders should do in the offseason, so let's bring him in. This one is Tommy. Tommy from Hastings. How's it going, Tommy?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Good, right. Tommy. What's up, bud?
Tommy?
I said it last week, and the more I think about it, they outside of signing the goalie they just picked up, they need to get somebody else. Natty's not the answer. The guy's been getting hurt left and right. I know you guys think he's great for the clubhouse and everything else, but you got to move on because he can't play anymore. Everything goes over his shoulder. They have to move on. And I'm tired of going to the games and seeing pucks go over the guy's shoulder. The other thing is this team needs to be rounded out more like the Red Wings when they were winning, and the Boston Bruins, and even the Rangers right now. Outside of the last two games, the Rangers had 4 lines that were, basically clicking right now. And the Islanders don't have that. You got guys like, and I love this guy, but the more I watched him play live, Matt Martin got no hands. and I know what he brings. I love the physical players, Bobby Nystrom kind of players and all.
Yep.
But Nystrom had hands. You know, I'm not saying be the next Bobby Nystrom, but you need people with hands. I remember Darren McCarty when he was with the Red Wings.
Yep.
He was a all-out. He was like a Ty Domi. All he could do was fight. When they had Brett Hull and Shanahan, they were famous for those one-timers, and those guys were elite players back then. He learned from those guys. His game picked up. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he ended up being a decent player.
Absolutely,
for the
I totally remember that.
He learned how to play hard work.
Yep.
Now Matt Martin's not old. I'm not saying he can't become someone like Darren McCarty was. I don't have the numbers on me, but check it out. I mean, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if Darren McCarty scored 12 to maybe 15 goals one year.
Yeah, he
seemed like the guy was just
became
getting
a very good player.
He learned how to play the game outside of just fighting and hitting. They need more of that. You know, to me, Matt Martin is almost like dead weight. You know, you got to have 4 good lines. You can't have a guy that's not really doing much offensively all year. You know, and then on top of that, you got Josh Bailey not scoring. You know, they have too much of that. And you guys were talking about Hickey being in the lineup next year. He's too small. I'm sorry. I mean, if you guys really want to get to the playoffs and you want to do damage outside of just getting in there one round to get knocked out, they need to get solid, bigger defensemen. And Hickey does not, you know, fall in that category.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what you guys think about that.
Well, I'm going to leave that one with Andy because I want to know what defenseman you would go for because I asked that a little bit earlier. And I didn't get a legitimate answer from anybody, so I'm going to let Andy take that one.
Yeah, you don't want to get loaded up with 37, 38-year-olds. You know, you're going to watch.
No, I know. You know, Tommy, I agree with you about Nabokov to a certain extent. I think that if you can go out and get, as we said before, if this Reimer thing in Toronto turns out to be, if there's some weight to that and they don't qualify him, and I think he's very, very available. I could maybe see Snow, too, going after a Cam Ward, possibly to back up Halak once he gets Halak signed. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing Nabby back on a 1 year, but I do see your point about moving on from it and just getting younger, maybe giving Nabby a job within the organization, maybe having him take over from Mike Dunham as goaltending coach or something in that capacity. In terms of having an identity on your third and fourth lines, that's actually a great point and something that I do agree with you on. I think if you look at the Blackhawks this year, about a player like Brian Bickle, for instance, is a player that the Islanders don't have. Right? Here's a guy who just grinds it out during the regular season and scores his 8 to 10 goals. Playoffs, he's got 6 goals already in 9 games. I mean, he just turns up big in the playoffs. It's guys like that get you to a Stanley Cup. Graphic they showed on the Rangers before that, like, of their 4 lines, their scoring went from, like, you know, 14 to, like, 9. It was that balanced out between their 4 lines were all putting up offensive production. And
something the Islanders definitely don't have.
Oh, their fourth line this year, the Islanders, with all due respect, was horrible. You know, McDonald started the year with the busted hip. Cizikas and Martin kind of took their jobs for granted, I think. Mm-hmm. Casey spoke of that late in the year. So, yeah, I think that's definitely something we need. As far as the defenseman goes, you're going to see Reinhart. That's going to immediately add size. I think, you know, I don't think the Islanders is going to be so quick to get rid of Thomas Hickey. I think that what he showed this year in playing every game, what he showed this year in being the only Islander regular as a plus player, I think he learned a lot. I don't think they're going to be so quick to get rid of him. I still see him in a 5-6 capacity. And outside of Shane's favorite, Matt Green, I don't see any realistic alternative.
You know, I wanted to tell you that seeing Clutterbuck in an Islander uniform, seeing what he's done injured the entire year, the hustle, the hands,
all hurt,
decent speed, it overshadows anything that Matt Martin can bring to the table, unfortunately, because Matt Martin is one of my favorite all-time Islanders. I love.
But we can't have 2 guys with the same skill set.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And especially when one of them has a better skill set in that same skill set.
So just.
Oh yeah, I love Matt. I was ready to get his jersey this year. I
want to hold off on that.
Yeah, I would definitely hold off on that.
As the season went on, I was like, wow, this guy, you know, You see a lot more when you're there at the game.
Absolutely.
You do.
I was like, this guy got no hands. I was like, it's amazing. He really got no hands. And it might be all right in the minor leagues. I mean, you do need that physical presence stuff, and he does have a good right hand. When it comes to fighting.
Yeah, but you know what?
He
didn't fight that much this year.
No, he didn't.
I think he tried to.
A lot of people don't want to fight him now too.
He tried to.
I don't really remember him ever
year.
getting taken to him. You know what I mean?
That's what I think. I think he tried to turn himself into more of a player this year. It didn't quite work out for him.
No, but I think
you got to remember guys like Joey Costa. People after a while they don't want to fight you. Sometimes they have to do it just because they have to do it. It's their job, but.
That's true.
I remember guys like Joey Costa. They big guys like Craig Berube, the coach for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Saw him back away. Mick Lakota, he's another one on the island. He never wanted to fight him. So I think Matt Martin's starting to get that reputation that he can put you down. He definitely has a good haymaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're gonna have if you're gonna have a Karkner sitting around every once in a while, if you're gonna have a Bolton to throw in there every once in a while,
you don't need
that. If you're gonna have a Clutterbuck who, as Shane said, plays that same style with so much more of an offensive upside, it does kind of make Martin's job a little bit redundant.
There's something you mentioned about Nystrom. Nystrom didn't start out like the Nystrom that ended. He was more a grittier, a bruiser.
He would look to fight people.
But he changed his game because of Bassi, of Trottier, Tonelli. He changed his game around because of that, and that was Tommy's point about Shanahan.
This is where they need to tell Matty Martin, hey, you want to be here, you gotta pick up your game a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he's not old. He could do it. Darren McCarty could do it. Why can't Matt Martin do it?
Yeah. Good point.
But you know what it was? Eric Bolton. Remember that little stretch Eric Bolton had where he had a couple goals and then he had a lot of good chances.
Yeah, do I remember that stretch when Eric Bolton was good?
Mikey reminded me.
I recorded those games and I will play those until the end of time.
he had a few games where he's putting the puck on, he's getting good shots. I was like, he's getting like 2 minutes, 3 minutes ice time a night, and he got more opportunities than that.
That's true, man. That's true.
His Corsi and Fenwick
the
charts.
the fantasy trade.
See when
PK.
The old mentality of associating men with adult videos. Mike's adult videos are Eric Bolton rewind of Eric Bolton career highlights.
Yeah, if you don't like to see a guy try hard with a limited NHL skill set, then maybe don't watch Eric Bolton play.
All right, Tommy, you wanted to say something about the trade, then we're going to wrap up quickly, so let's get that in here.
Yep. Just be real quick. You guys do the little fantasy trades. This one might not be actually. Boston might actually pull the trigger on this. If they win the cup or get to the cup finals, whatever, they could say, "Hey, we still got a good team. We already won the cup. We're they don't have to worry. They sell out no matter what." Charon's getting up there, and the Islanders could use that veteran. If the Islanders gave them a really, really good package, you'd have to give them a heck of a prospect. You'd probably have to give them DeHaan and somebody else. Maybe even give them the first-round draft pick this year.
For Chara.
Why wouldn't Boston make that move? Because Chara's he got a lot of miles on him. You could tell he's declined. He's starting to decline. But he's still an excellent defenseman.
I think Ciccarelli might
with
get hung.
The young Islanders, he teaches them the way, and in return, Boston, who will actually stay back on top because they're getting young guys in return. And then you give them a first-round draft pick so they can draft another young guy.
Yeah, look,
Boston's doing what the Yankees are doing. They're chasing winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I said this about Chara earlier in the year. I saw a play again in an Islander Bruin game where Dougie Hamilton made a an ill-advised clearing pass out of his own zone, and as soon as the puck got kept in the zone, the Islanders took a shot. Rask made the save, covered the puck immediately. Zdeno Chara, who was paired with Dougie Hamilton, went over to him, and you could see them visibly having a pretty descriptive conversation right there on the ice. You could see Z kind of teaching him. And I always thought that's what the Islanders lacked this year, was that true veteran leadership on the blue line to kind of show these young kids the way. It takes so much longer for defensemen to develop in the NHL that they really need that kind of leadership that we didn't have. And but I think Ciccarelli would get hung.
Oh yeah, I think
at the end of the day.
Chara would be a great move on the Islanders side, but I don't. That's even more unlikely than PK Subban coming to the Islanders.
Oh man.
But now hold on. Let's get a timeout here. Let's get a timeout here for a second.
Blow the whistle.
We're gonna bring back an old favorite. Rich, I know there was a topic you wanted to talk about. Now I don't know if you're looking at my screen right now, but right up here.
Oh yeah, I see it.
There's a 2-minute timer. Where am I? Right here. There's a 2-minute timer right here.
Mm-hmm.
So Rich, you have 2 minutes to go off on racism in hockey. Let's keep it as...
Oh, we're going to do this like this? All right. I wasn't going to say much.
Keep it as PC as you can. That way I don't have to do much editing, because editing takes time and
No, I'm not,
Make it easy on me.
No, I wasn't even going to say anything for 2 minutes. I just wanted to kind of go around the horn about it.
No, you got 2 minutes, Rich.
Oh.
And with about 30 seconds left, you're gonna hear a song start to play, and then at 0, you're getting buzzed. So, ready?
Go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, last week and throughout the Rangers series as well, there were horrible, just absolutely irreprehensible comments made toward 2 African American players, Simmons and PK Subban, and I just had about enough of it, and I wrote on Islanders Insight what I felt was really at the core of all of this. It's not so much that hockey is an all-white sport, or it's not anything to do with that. It's just, I think it's the byproduct of our society and social media, specifically the anonymity that Twitter and Facebook, mostly Twitter, allows these keyboard cowboys to spew their venom and infect all these children and all these up-and-coming adults watching the game, and these veterans like Andy, myself, and all of you here in the podcast included. I don't want to see that on my Twitter feed. I don't want to see that in the news. I just feel like this cowardice is destroying and overshadowing yet another postseason. It doesn't... It's just a very sad state of affairs that in this day and age, in the 21st century, that we resort to these kinds of commentary simply because we're upset because of the outcome. Never mind the fact that PK Subban is an elite superstar defenseman, and he beat that team fair and square with a blistering rocket of a shot. I'm more upset. I'm more upset with the anonymity that Twitter allows these people, and I hope to never see it again. I hope it gets eradicated. Thank you.
Really? You got 10 seconds. You can't give me 10 more seconds?
That was the most distracting music. You couldn't have picked a chime or something? I thought I was getting kicked off a show or something.
I was going for dramatic. That was the point.
I thought I was getting kicked off a show.
That was my Oscars music.
Rich was getting voted off the island.
From now on, whenever someone's going on for too long, this is what you're getting. We'll call it the Dump and Chase Oscars music.
Pittsburgh's up 2-0, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Did you hear what Pierre Maguire said about the goal?
No.
Jokinen scored, and apparently the exact words from Pierre Maguire were, this is from Dan Friedman's Twitter, apparently Pierre Maguire said, it must have been divine intervention.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because he came out of the box and he picked it up in midstream.
So
what is with that? How does that go?
Wait, can we talk about something more important here?
Sure.
No.
Let me. I wanted to say something before I was really interrupted by that horrific music that you.
You had another 30 seconds. What'd you?
But I was completely distracted. I had notes and everything.
Oh, grow up.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you want to say? Good.
What I was going to say is more than. Can you please turn that off?
You're welcome. What do you want to say, Rich? Hello?
Are you done?
Hello?
Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay, good. Andy, are you there?
Yep.
Mikey?
Oh yeah, still here.
Okay. No, I'm not going to talk because I know Shane's about to press the. You see? Shane, I'm trying to make a valid
No, see,
point here.
look, you see where my hands are? You see where my hands are?
All right, stop.
Go.
Where
Go.
are your feet?
On my legs.
Okay, listen. Aside from the obvious boon to the talent on the squad, PK Subban to New York City can change the dynamic of the sport for all inner city kids, for all kids growing up in New York City, in Brooklyn. When the Islanders are in Brooklyn, PK Subban in an Islander uniform.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, Rich. I was going to let you finish before I jumped in for the outro. I thought you were going to finish. You get distracted too easily, Rich.
We all know Rich's weakness now. This is good.
He gets distracted way too easy. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning into episode number 25 of the Dump and Chase podcast. We had a lot to talk about. I think we covered just about everything we had to cover. Andy Graziano at Tasman19. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
No, just once again, another great live episode. Thanks to the wonderful team and cast on this podcast, Shane, Mike, Rich. Thanks for everything. I really appreciate it. And keep reading IslandersInsight.com. Keep listening to the Dump and Chase podcast. Next week, we will have Justin Bourne, son of Bobby, from the hockey writer for thescore.ca on, so you're going to want to make sure you tune in for that.
Michael Wilhoff, still at Michael Wilhoff. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Just the usual. Keep following us. Keep reading IslandersInsight.com. Keep listening to the Dump and Chase podcast. We appreciate all the support, guys.
Rich Diaz Rodriguez, easily distracted at RDNHL. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
No.
Rich is mad at me, I think. That's okay. And I'm Shane Blackburn. You could follow me at Shane B NHL.
Or don't.
Or don't, but I'd prefer if you did. I mean, I'm way behind these three guys in followers, and I don't like that. So go follow me at Shane B NHL. Follow at Dump and Chase 80. Follow at Isles Insight. Make sure you check out IslandersInsight.com, the Dump and Chase Podcast.com. Tweet us your questions. Leave a voicemail. Call us up on the live show, 718-395-7825. Until next week, I'm Shane Blackburn. They're Andy, Mike, and Rich. And let's go
Islanders.
Blackhawks?
No.
Yes.
Never.
Yes.